tweets.
I think based upon technology is what makes this more complicated, right? Because there's a long-standing legal history of, for example, calling in a bomb threat. If you use a phone, you call in a bomb threat. Very illegal. I think the penalty for that's 5 years in federal prison. And you don't get to say, oh, it was a joke, or I didn't want to go to school that day. People actually do that. They have some rationale in their head, some reason, they call in a bomb threat. That's very illegal. Standing up on a plane and saying something like, I have a bomb, or I'm going to take this thing into the ground, or whatever it may be, also very illegal, also a violation of federal law. I don't see how making a threat using Twitter is in any way distinct from using the phone to make what would be a lethal threat, which is illegal.
What you're talking about, just to give a few facts, this used to be called terroristic threat. Now most jurisdictions call it a criminal threat, and it is what you just said. It's a person commits an offense if he threatens to commit any offense involving violence to another person or property, and it could be intended to scare someone, to clear a building, as you pointed out with the bomb threat, to be specific in nature sometimes towards an individual person. But there is a criminal law regarding criminal threats.
But I'm wondering, unfortunately, I have some experience with this, getting threats. And my understanding is that it has to be, for it to be a credible threat, it has to be specific in its sort of time and place. I am going to kill you at this time, at this place. That's happened, and law enforcement has pursued that to the fullest. Short of that, though, I've been told that it's actually very difficult to pursue these sort of broad-based threats.
But in this case, for example, of a rifle pointing out a window in a specific place saying, I'm about to shoot.
Does that make it?
It is the equivalent. Yeah. I think that would fall under
building.
That would be like calling into a specific building.
That's specific.
That's like a ticking time bomb kind of a
But
scenario.
I'm also wondering, Will, if we put a political spin on this, say, for example, this was tweeted out by a Bloomberg anti-gun group to make a statement.
Awareness.
An awareness. Would that excuse the threat after the fact any more than these pranksters?
Well, no more than these pranksters.
Not
because
legally.
Of course,
yeah.
the argument from these pranksters is it was just a prank. We didn't intend to actually threaten anyone. There's actually a case going before the Supreme Court. They've agreed to hear it this summer. The summer they agreed to hear it. It will be coming up later in the year, called Alanis versus the United States. And it's about a guy on Twitter, or actually on Facebook, who posted rap lyrics threatening to kill his ex-girlfriend. Very thorough, how he would do it, very specific. However, he says it's just a song. It's just
did he get away with that?
And there's no intent. The question for the Supreme Court is whether or not, the legal question will be whether or not you have to have subjective intent. It's between whether or not the person making a threat has the subjective intent for it to be a threat, whether or not you use that standard or the reasonable man standard. Would a reasonable man perceive it as a threat? That's the debate.
That is frightening.